Anita. I'm married to Alan, who has also shared about the song he really likes, which is a new one that's just come out and been on UCP One. I've always loved music. My earliest memory, according to my mum, is me bouncing the band right across the living room floor to the Ink Spots, and then on rains, jumping up and down when my uncle was in a band playing and marching through the town of Newark, where I come from. So I've always loved music, and I was heavily influenced by our music and maths teacher, who was the church organist at Magdalene Parish Church in Newark. He had an amazing collection of music records that ranged from classical, from Tchaikovsky and other composers, right through to Led Zeppelin and the Doors.
Wow.
And he used to let us in to listen to them because my dad didn't like that sort of music, so I wasn't allowed to have them at home. But what he used to do was get the scores even for the modern music and make us go through them and see how we followed. And when he heard one year I didn't have a guitar for Christmas, he bought two so that my friend and I could learn the guitar, although he said he couldn't play, so we'd have to teach ourselves. But it really encouraged us, enabled us. And I think because I'm an adult literacy tutor, I've taken this ethos of trying to encourage people, from him. But one of the songs I want to talk to you about that I really like is one by Anita and Nick Hague, which is from their Celtic Roots and Rhythms album. They are part of the Northumbrian community.
Right.
And on Heartcry, they've got a wonderful song called Come to Me. They wrote this when they had a loss, but it really speaks to a lot of people. And we used to play it within our folk band, which used to be called Bang, Twang, Fiddle and Squeak, better known as BTFS. When we was in Suffolk, we were part of our church, but our minister used to send us out, and we used to be a charity band. So either we received just petrol expenses or our money went to various charities. But the one we used to sing, come to me, you weary ones. Come to me, you fearful ones. Come all you with heavy loads, and I will give your soul repose. Take my yoke and learn from me. Take my yoke and you will see. I love you so tenderly, and I will give your soul repose. There's no need to struggle. There's no need to fight. Put your hand in mine and you'll be all right. For my yoke is easy and my burden light. I will give your soul repose. And this came back to me during the pandemic last year. Because a lot of people were struggling, and a lot of people were weary and fearful as time went on with the first lockdown, second one, over the Christmas period. And people were getting tired and weary. So I just felt that this song would touch their hearts. And I think I sent you the link to it. It's about, keeping on, keeping going and finding God's strength in you. There's another verse that says, come to me, you faded ones. Come to me, you jaded ones. And I think a lot of people have been jaded. They're not seeing people. They've not been able to get out. And come with broken dreams, all those that maybe have lost their positions, their jobs, and they're having to rebuild. But bathe in love's pure healing streams, because you might change your career, find new skills. I know a lot of my literacy learners have found new skills. I mean, one of them, he's never been on Facebook, he's never taught himself the computer, but he's now on Teams, he's on Zoom. He's really embracing emailing and chatting to people, and it's giving him a new onus for learning. So, there's lots of things people can do. But we used to sing that with one I actually wrote. When I was in the band, one of the band members had schizophrenia, and she tried to commit suicide. Another one, our fiddle player, had very severe depression, and she was diagnosed with diabetes. And at the time of the Anita one come to me, she was diagnosed with bad heart, and they said, oh, she'd only got 4 years to live. Now, this was the year 2000. She's still alive, and it's the year 2021.
Wow.
But it's God working in her. And we had Barry, who was in a real tussle with his daughter for custody of his grandson at the time. And God gave me these words, and it fitted in with what they were singing. And I'll read you the last verse. It was called Lay Your Head on My Shoulder. Lay your head upon my shoulder. Don't you cry no more, my child. I will always be here for you when dark clouds come in at night. Fret not when troubles before you. When life's too much, then I am there. Lay your head, come rest with me. Let me take your pain and be at peace. I just hope these words of both songs will touch people, because I think people have been going through so much, you know, and getting low. We've had several people that we know with depression. So I just hope those songs will help.
When was it you wrote that, Dawn?
That one was probably about, I've lost the date, but 98, that one, and they wrote theirs about the same time, but went on their own in 2000. But yeah, it came particularly after, say, a friend, I was at home from work and I was in my bedroom, and I felt the Lord speaking. Well, first I thought I was having an asthma attack because I couldn't breathe. So I thought, oh, I've got to get my inhaler. I went downstairs and went to go in the kitchen. There was this wall right in front of me. And God saying, it's not you, it's a friend in the band. I won't say name just in case. And I felt I'd been pushed towards the living room and pick up the phone and pick up your mobile, you know, and pick up everything. And so I rang. They said, you know, and I says, "Are you okay?" She says, "Well, I've just drunk some bleach in water." So I says, "Get a lot of milk, get a lot of water, and wash your mouth out." At the same time, I was on the mobile ringing my colleague at work and saying, "Can you ring his mother?" And he managed to get through because he knew her, because she worked at the local college. And then he came around, picked me up. He rang another colleague. He got another colleague to ring the ambulance. So there was an ambulance heading away. But by the time we got her mum, the GP was pinning, and we got there, you know. So that was for her, and say for our other friend who was depressed, and for Barry, who was, you know, having all this difficulty at the time, which resolved itself. Everything resolved itself. But we used to put them in the, you know, to help people.
And yet it still speaks to us today, and would speak to anyone going through a hard time.
I think, yeah, the words do for both. I mean, especially with this pandemic, people have been, I think, so uncertain, or going through grief and uncertainty. You know, I think really, really speak to people.
Yeah, thank you.
And as Alan was saying about his song that he chose, you know, it really links in about the desert and how people might have been fearing, is God still here? Well, he is here. You know, you just have to let his arms come round you and rest your head. Just sometimes take time, rest your head on his shoulder when you're weary and jaded.
Yeah, it's a good reminder to not rely on ourselves and to rely on God when we're at our lowest. Because it's too tempting to become self-sufficient, isn't it?
Because everybody tries, you know, we're strong, we're independent, but we have to let sometimes the independence go.